The silence surrounding the clip was almost louder than the clip itself. Days passed, and yet there was no official word from HYB, no confirmation or denial, no polite message reminding fans to respect Jungkook's privacy. It was strange, because HYB had always been swift in protecting its artists, especially when it came to sensitive or invasive moments. The lack of response felt deliberate, almost strategic. People began to whisper that maybe, just maybe, this was not a random encounter, but part of something far more orchestrated. By the fourth day, digital journalists across Korea and Japan began to trace the video's origin. The now-deleted X account, known for its unusual access to behind-the-scenes content, was traced to a Seoul-based marketing group that had previously worked with idol agencies to seed organic, viral content. If this was true, then Jungkook's walk wasn't a private stroll at all. It was a test. A quiet experiment to gauge public reaction, to see whether the world was ready for BTS's next chapter. Inside fan communities, the mood shifted from outrage to intrigue. Some fans were furious at the thought of being manipulated, but others, perhaps more realistic, acknowledged that this was how modern fame worked. Nothing goes viral by accident. The lines between authenticity and strategy have long blurred in the K-pop world, and if this was HYB's silent prelude to something bigger, it was working. Jungkook's name had dominated headlines for a week straight. Every second of that video was analyzed like a coded message. His glance over the shoulder was interpreted as acknowledgement, his half-smile as reassurance. Even the way his hand brushed against the Balenciaga strap was discussed in theories about symbolism and brand partnership, but something still didn't sit right. If it was all planned, why did the video feel so heavy? There was a moment, barely noticeable, where Jungkook's expression shifted, his gaze flickering toward the unseen camera. It wasn't the look of an actor in a scene. It was instinctive, human, the kind of look that says, "I know you're there." Don't Point, one entertainment columnist from Dispatch wrote a scathing piece, accusing the public of romanticizing invasion. "We have turned voyeurism into affection," the article read. "We say we love Jungkook, but we refuse to let him breathe." The piece went viral, reigniting debate about privacy and celebrity ethics in an era where every fan carries a camera in their pocket. Yet, at the same time, Jungkook's quiet reemergence had rekindled something that the world had been waiting for since 2022, the pulse of BTS as a group, alive again. His return coincided with whispers that all 7 members had recently been spotted at HYB headquarters after completing their military duties. Anonymous staff tweets hinted that something monumental was brewing, a sound check, a rehearsal, or maybe even a music video shoot. The kind of silence that always comes before a storm. AS days turned into a week. Speculation reached fever pitch. Tabloids began drawing comparisons between Jungkook's calm presence and the explosive rise of a Hoff's new star, JL, who had just claimed the number 3 position above him in the most handsome faces ranking. Media outlets feasted on the contrast. The quiet veteran versus the roaring rookie, the legend walking through the city versus the newcomer dominating the charts. One Japanese magazine even printed the headline, "Jungkook walks, JL runs. Who will lead K-pop's next generation?" But in truth, Jungkook didn't seem to care. The man who once chased perfection with sleepless energy now looked like someone who had learned the weight of stillness. Those who knew him described a different kind of Jungkook after the military, disciplined, grounded, but sharper in his awareness of how the world saw him.
He had changed, they said.
The boy who once feared the camera now knew exactly when to look into it, and when to look away. Theories about the video continued to swirl. Some insisted that HYB had leaked it on purpose to reintroduce Jungkook subtly to the public eye before a massive announcement. Others believed it was an accidental invasion that the company couldn't contain fast enough. The most extreme theory claimed that Jungkook himself had asked for the video to be released anonymously as a statement, a visual poem about fame, solitude, and control. The story only grew stranger when a second clip appeared online, this time from a different angle. It showed Jungkook entering a narrow alley behind a small recording studio near Itaewon. Fans froze the frames and realized something. The signboard above the door read, "Who We Are." The exact same title as a Hoff's breakout EP. Coincidence? or deliberate breadcrumb? Social media exploded again. Theories flooded timelines. Was Jungkook collaborating with AHF? Was this a hidden cameo? Could BTS's long-awaited reunion involve mentoring a rookie group? For every minute of silence from HYB, the internet generated 1,000 interpretations. The label remained unmoved, releasing no comments, no denials, not even a clarification. It was as if they had decided to let the chaos speak for itself. Journalists from Korea's largest entertainment outlets began circling the story like hawks. Paparazzi staked out the studio in question, hoping for a glimpse. 2 days later, one grainy photo surfaced. A black van leaving the alleyway at night, headlights cutting through the rain. Fans were quick to match the vehicle's license plate pattern to the same van BTS had used during their 2021 permission to dance promotions. It was all the confirmation they needed. The theory hardened into belief. BTS was back. And maybe, in a poetic twist, that was the true purpose of the video all along, that IT wasn't about a man being followed. It wasn't even about invasion or controversy. It was about resurrection, the soft, subtle awakening of a phenomenon that had slept for 3 years. Jungkook's walk wasn't just a walk. It was a signal flare, quiet but undeniable, reminding the world that BTS's story wasn't finished. Late that night, a fan posted a long reflection on Weverse that went viral across ARMY circles. "Maybe we've all been waiting for them to shout that they're coming back," she wrote. But Jungkook doesn't need to shout. He just walks, and the world listens. No one could have phrased it better. BY morning, #Siscoming was trending again for the first time in over a year. And somewhere in Seoul, perhaps in a quiet studio, perhaps alone, Jungkook must have seen it too. Maybe he smiled that same small, knowing smile caught in the video. The one that looked innocent, but maybe wasn't innocent at all, because maybe the whole world had just been led, step by step, back into the rhythm of BTS by the time the second week began. The rumor had already spiraled beyond control. What started as a blurry video of Jungkook walking casually through the streets of Seoul had evolved into a full-blown media obsession, not just about his privacy, but about whether BTS's golden magne had a secret hand in one of 2025's most explosive K-pop debuts. The studio in Itaewon that fans discovered, the one marked Who We Are, wasn't a random recording site. Industry insiders confirmed that it was a small production hub rented by a group of independent producers during the spring, a few months before the rookie group AHF officially debuted under a subsidiary label. That subsidiary, as sharp-eyed fans soon uncovered, was partially funded by HYB's Creative Ventures division, a shadow unit known for scouting and investing in experimental music projects without overt branding. The connection was too sharp to ignore. The same HYB that managed BTS had quietly bankrolled the label that launched AHF. And now Jungkook had been seen walking near their studio, his presence captured by a fan whose identity no one could verify. IT was no longer just a question of coincidence. It was a question of intent. Had Jungkook been secretly mentoring the group during his final months in the military? Was AHF's debut EP, Who We Are, not just a rookie album, but a coded message, a bridge between generations, a musical thread woven by someone whose influence transcended contracts? No one from HYB would answer, but the clues kept multiplying. The EP's liner notes contained one peculiar credit: JK93, unconfirmed contributor, vocals, and arrangement. Normally, it would have been dismissed as a staff pseudonym, but the timing, the initials, and the birth year aligned perfectly with Jungkook's. Fans who listened closely to the album's title track swore that they could hear him. A soft breath layered beneath the chorus, a haunting falsetto note that sounded unmistakably his. For days, streaming platforms became war zones of analysis. YouTube channels uploaded slowed-down versions, reversed audio, isolated vocal frequencies. One fan compilation, titled The Hidden Voice of Jungkook, Proof Inside Who We Are, reached 7.2 million views in 48 hours, and then came the most chilling discovery. I Am the bridge of track 3, Echoes of Dawn, a whispered phrase played faintly under the melody. Slowed down and enhanced, the voice murmured, "Don't follow me, just listen." It was only 2 seconds long, but it was enough to set the internet ablaze. Don't follow me. The irony was brutal. The world had followed him, literally, emotionally, digitally, since the night he took that quiet walk. And now, if that voice was truly his, he was begging for distance even as the world closed in closer. HYB, for the first time in months, broke its silence. But instead of addressing the rumors directly, they released a vague statement through a partner PR firm. Certain online speculations surrounding creative contributions by our artists are unfounded. We ask for understanding and restraint. The denial was clinical, detached, cold. It didn't sound like Jungkook. It didn't sound like protection. It sounded like containment. Entertainment reporters began digging deeper. A veteran producer who once worked under Big Hit's early training program spoke anonymously to a Japanese magazine, claiming that Jungkook had always wanted to mentor younger artists, to build something sustainable beyond BTS's glory. He never saw fame as the final goal, the source said. He saw it as the bridge to something else, a place where new voices could exist without the same pressure he lived under. If true, AHOF might not just be a new group. They might be his experiment in freedom, but freedom comes with a price, and the industry doesn't like idols who operate outside its control. Shortly after the rumor broke, two of AHOF's members abruptly suspended live broadcasts, citing personal health reasons. One deleted his Instagram entirely. Their agency, only 3 months old, went completely dark. No updates, no promotions, no schedule releases. As if someone had pressed pause on their careers overnight, something, or someone, had decided that the story had gone too far. Yet, even in silence, the puzzle pieces refused to stop rearranging themselves. An anonymous email sent to a popular K-pop journalist contained an attached image, a screenshot of a security camera feed from the same Itaewon studio, dated 2 months before the viral walk. The image showed a man seated at a mixing desk, his face obscured by a hoodie, but his posture unmistakable to anyone who knew BTS's visual history.
Tattoos on his right hand.
A silver bracelet. The curve of his jaw under the dim light. IT looked like Jungkook. The email came with only one line of text. He never stopped making music. He just stopped letting you see. The journalist, fearing legal retaliation, never published the story, but fans found out anyway. Within hours, the image spread across Reddit, Discord, and private Telegram groups. People dissected every pixel. Some said it was fake, a deepfake stitched together from old footage. Others swore it was real, that the metadata even matched the camera system installed in that building. The mystery had evolved beyond fandom gossip. It was now a cultural moment, a collective obsession that blurred the lines between art and reality, privacy and performance. Even international media joined the chase. Rolling Stone Korea ran a front-page story titled, "The Disappearance of Jungkook, Genius or Ghost?" The Washington Post published a think piece arguing that the entire ordeal represented the moral collapse of digital empathy in the age of celebrity surveillance. Meanwhile, in Seoul, talk shows debated whether Jungkook's new persona was rebellion or redemption, and in the middle of it all, Jungkook remained silent. Not a post, not a statement, not even a comment on Weverse. Just silence, the kind that makes the world speak louder in his absence. Yet fans couldn't ignore the timing of one subtle event. A week after the chaos peaked, a new trademark was quietly filed with the Korean Intellectual Property Office under the name Golden Sound Company, describing itself as a multimedia production and mentorship label. The listed representative? John Jungkook. The date of filing? The very same night the viral walk was filmed. It wasn't random at all. Everything, the walk, the video, the silence, the whispers, had been part of a controlled burn, an artistic rebirth. Jungkook hadn't been running from the camera that night. He had been walking toward it one last time, to show that he no longer needed permission to move, to breathe, to create. And when the final confirmation came, an update from the HUF label thanking JK and the Golden Sound team for creative guidance, the world finally understood what it had witnessed. It wasn't scandal. It wasn't invasion. It was a resurrection in disguise. The most watched man in the world had orchestrated his own myth, and the person behind the camera, the one who filmed that casual walk, might not have been a stranger at all. Some now believe it was himself, a self-directed act of liberation, A visual manifesto disguised as an accident, because that's what true artists do when the world watches too closely. They blur the lens until it tells the truth.